Yo, 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 what is the word? We are back again with another edition of the West Coast Podcast. Appreciate you guys for checking us out as we get to you guys on this Friday. Going to be bringing you guys another podcast every other Friday on Shanghai 11 on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to Shanghai 11. Not only do you get this awesome podcast content, but you also get some patch notes, some tip videos, and other stuff to keep you informed, keep you engaged throughout the college football 25 and Madden 25 seasons. I am checking my phone to make sure
We're
we are
good.
live, and it looks like we are good for sure. So, yeah, appreciate you guys. We got some stuff to be talking about. We got some MCS news. The first tournament is going to be taking place on Wednesday before the Ravens Chiefs open up the NFL season. Thursday, we are 1 week away from football time. I mean, college is in full swing. There's going to be some college football tomorrow, so football season is officially back. Madden season has been back for a while, but I think that when you have the NFL season and college football season, that just solidifies the entire season in full swing. So, with that being said, Shane, how have you been doing these last couple weeks?
I mean, I'm doing pretty good, bro. I could be better at Madden, but it is what it is. I will continue grinding away, seeing how that will go. Let's see, what is it? August 30th. We'll see how I am on Madden in about a month, Trey. We'll see how it goes. How have you been,
How have
bro?
you been, bro? Yes, sir. I've been doing good. I was away for a little bit. Still grinding the YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Trey is Raw. Definitely going to be getting that up and going. We took a little bit of a hiatus from that. Me and my co host, which is my brother, Treve Toss. You can also check him out on YouTube. We were at a location unknown the other day meeting with the powers that be. So, definitely some interesting stuff going on with that, but we're in full swing about that, being talking about sports media, journalist, and all that. So definitely excited to get back into that. But I mean, we're about a month in. Well, I would say a month because college football came out, mid August, and we're getting pretty close to September tomorrow, whatever. I don't know how many days are in August, but basically we're getting into September. So with all that being said, Shane, how are you feeling about the landscape of college football and Madden so far?
You know, yes, definitely go check out Trey and his brother and make sure you hit the subscribe button for them. You know, honestly, Madden feels a lot like college football. It's a lot of high scores. It brings me back to a few years ago where it was like 42 to 35 for the pros. Um, excuse me, it was like 42 to 35 for the pros, and there was just like maybe one stop, and that was it for the game. Be it a fumble, be it an interception, be it just I don't know, like just something poor happening. And that's kind of like how it's been going right now, especially with the stem glitch going on. And basically, the only defense right now is mid blitz, mug, and they drop it in zone or do a man blitz. I have seen it starting to change a little bit lately, Trey, with higher cards coming out. Man coverage at $1.146 is starting to make a comeback. The thing I dislike is that basically is all what it is. It feels like a college Madden game, if that makes sense. We are going to talk about major patch news coming up when you bring it up later down on the topic for Madden 25. I mean, it's a fun, cutesy little game. I definitely feel like Madden benefits the offensive minded player. I have a few people that I know that I'm not going to like obviously throw under the bus because it's not that big of a deal. But they've been really, really good twice in the 4 years that I have known them. and both years were what I've been talking about, where it was all offense, little defense. And by that, what I mean, Trey and everyone, is they can make poor reads and get away with it. Like I just put out a clip earlier today about a guy throwing it in triple coverage. My computer jumps up in front and swats it, and the guy runs and catches it for the touchdown. Now I have seen a lot. Like I've been watching a lot of pro streams lately, and they have actually been saying that lately as well. Now they do have the top team, so it does help that they get block sheds at time, like the 4-man crash in. But they also get torched at the same time versus other top pros because of how the zones react. They're going against other players that have very good players and very good, they're very good as well. But they have been saying, Trey, like, let's just say I'm playing you, and this is what they're talking about, and I throw the ball, it's a terrible read, and you drop it, or they don't react, and it's an incompletion. Well, there was your chance, most likely, to get a stop, and then they usually go down and score a touchdown. So right now, I just feel like Madden 25 is a lot like college football 25, in my opinion.
Yeah, no doubt. And I feel like at least for the last, I would say, 3 to 4 years, you get into Madden and it's mostly offensive focused. I think personally it would be an interesting experiment if they said, hey, we're gonna make defense starting off. We're gonna make defense dominant to where it's hard to get down and score. But I think the thing with defense is that it's always going to be somewhat tough in the beginning, but you could figure out different ways to adjust and all that, and the meta is going to dictate the scene. And
You cut off, Trey. Are you still there?
yeah, we're still here. Sorry, that was my PlayStation talking to me. But
Okay.
yeah, no, we're good. But yeah, so yeah, I do agree with the defense is definitely tough, but it's not really something I'm too surprised with. I do think that going back to Madden 18, that was probably the one game where defense was a lot more dominant towards the start of the year, and then it got a lot of backlash from pros and other communities in general because they felt like the zones were too overpowered and that they couldn't complete a pass. So, with that being said, Shane, what do you think? Do you think that obviously I know you're a defensive guy and you love defense and all that, but if you were like pretend I was an EA sports executive and you were trying to convince me on why you need to make defense more um solid than offense, how would you convince me of that? I would.
I would say that it would make the game more realistic, and I know it's a video game, but it'd make the game more realistic. But my main selling point is anybody that's blind right now can make a read and get away with it or score points. That's why everybody's scoring 35 plus. Not even the pros. Exclude the pros. And what I've been researching and on Reddit and on other on X is that it's easy to be on offense right now and nobody's getting punished. So for me, I would tell as a selling point, I'd be like to separate the top players is to make a read and the correct read and not just throw it up and hope the defense dumbs out or the defense doesn't react or the zones don't react. But you want the top players to be able to be the best, right? You want them to be able to make the correct read and not just throw it up and moss the guy or hope the zone coverages break down and don't work at all. Like, I mean, there's been a few times where like my zone came all the way up and I have no idea why because it wasn't supposed to be in that and it's given a free touchdown. And I would personally say that defense doesn't need to be overpowered. It just needs to be fair. just like offense. Offense doesn't need to be so decreased where it's dumb to play offense. It just has to be fair. Like if I switch up on defense and jump the route, you should react. And lots of time, well, I shouldn't say lots of times, but sometimes maybe 25% of the time it doesn't react. And I thought it was me, Trey. I thought it was my controller, and I was like, I'm gonna have to get a new one. And I asked, Soul Crusher, and he said it's happened to him. And I asked a couple other people in the UMC crew, and they said it's happened to them too. So I don't know exactly what's going on right there, but I do know that it should be constantly working. But see, I was always a person who, and you can vouch for me on this, is that I was always the person who thought that click-offs for top pros were not a good look, especially when you're streaming to the masses. You want to see the top pros be able to switch up and make that tackle or make that interception. You don't want to see like the pros switch up and have the computer tackle. You know what I mean? So like just for a selling point, just to circle back around, is I'd say I want to see the top pro. I want to see the top pros actually make the right read and beat the correct defense. Like read the defense, make the correct read, and beat them that way. Not everybody scoring 35 plus and praying for a fumble or a block shed. So that's where I'd be at.
All right, and if I was an EA executive, I would say, Shane, that was an impressive speech, but I went to college for 10 years, so I know better than you. So that's it. but I appreciate the attempt in that, but no, I agree with you, and the one thing that I will say on that is, like, I know you've been anti-click offs. I mean, I would say that's probably your biggest pet peeve when it comes to, Madden and
Truth,
all that in
truth.
general. However, I will say that I feel like because I click off like anyone else. I don't have any problem with admitting there's no shame in my game on that aspect, but I do feel like they're kind of making it dumb out a little bit more than they have in the past when you do click off. So with that being said, I'm actually going to take this into a different direction with you. So if we were to expand this to real football, right? Because we all know that these rule changes that come into the NFL is to promote scoring and all that, but as someone that likes defense, what do you think would be a solid rule change that would give the defense more of an advantage to combat these offenses that are out here?
And just to go back real quick, Trey, yeah, they have kind of fixed, clicking off. Depending on who the player is, like I have noticed definitely they click off and I can spin them out or juke them out unless they have a really good player like the Earl Thomas right now. He'll still tackle me, the computer. But yes, I have noticed they've done a way better thing. And yes, you have said that you do that, but you also don't think that you're a top, 20 player in all the MCS either. So like, I guess I'm more talking to like the people we see on TV, right? But yeah, moving to the NFL, honestly, I would allow more physical play. I'm not talking about like bring back the 80s and 90s where like you're grabbing them and tackling them to the ground and all of that, like and it's 7-10, 14-10, whatever. But allow a little bit more contact, right? A little bit more physical play. Make it a happy medium. I don't, because like personally for me, I don't really want to see scores 38-31. I would like to see some 24-20s, some 28-21s, and then once in a while a 35-28 game or 42-35 game. But allow a little bit more physical play, because what's going to happen is it's going to get to the point where it is all about offense, where it's going to be 35-30 is the norm. So I would allow a little bit more hand checking in the sense of you can bump and grind, like the song R. Kelly, I believe it was, bump and grind a little bit more than they allow. Like, I'm not talking about grab, slam to the ground, at the line of scrimmage. I'm just talking about, like, as you go down, let them fight for the ball just a little bit. No, it doesn't have to be 100% for the offense and 0% for the defense. So I would allow a little bit more physical play, a little bit more hand battling to even it up.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know if we were allowed to say, R. Kelly in this time period. So if we end up getting in trouble, I'm gonna give all the accountability to Shane on that one. But he grew up in the '90s, so he doesn't know any better. So it is what it is. And I'm the kind of person that's gonna go to bat for Bill Belichick probably more than anybody else. And it's like what you were saying. I mean, you get to the Super Bowl against the Rams, and Mike Martz is regarded as the greatest show on turf. Bill Belichick comes in and roughs up the receivers, not letting them get off the line, and all of a sudden Mike Martz and Peyton Manning want to go complain, and then they get the rules changed. I mean, it's pretty similar situation to how the pros complain and they're able to switch things. Huh, Shane? Is that pretty accurate? Pretty.
Pretty accurate. Yeah, I agree.
All right, no doubt. All right, so we're getting pretty close into this competitive season. I do understand, Shane, that there was a tournament. Now the regular tournament is in the can. They are performing it live on Wednesday. And I do believe they actually had their first kind of MCS tournament held on Mutt already. Is that correct?
The online tournament
The
for Mutt,
online portion, yeah, yeah.
they have the single eliminations tomorrow.
Okay, single eliminations tomorrow.
Correct. Yeah, they have
So
single eliminations
I do
tomorrow.
want to, yeah, I do want to kind of get your entire outlook on that, and I'm gonna throw it back over to you. But I want to ask you, do you like the fact that they're having these tournaments so early? Obviously, there's been a whole lot of controversy and them resetting the leaderboards in that, but I'm talking about as far as the whole pay to play gap is a little bit fairer. Now you still have people that are gonna spend thousands, they're gonna have the best teams, and that's gonna put you at a disadvantage. But do you think that in general it's a little bit more fair to the average person that it's pretty early on in the Madden season?
I do that. That's a perfect question, Trey, on all aspects. I do think that I am in favor of them having early tournaments. Like, it does make it a lot better. It makes it fun, right? It makes it like everything's new. They're throwing out tournaments, even if they have some hiccups along the way, like this play or this, like, people are glitching it out. Just try to ban it from the tournament. But yeah, I mean, I do think it's a little bit more fair right now. It's starting to already get to the point, though, Trey, where it's not so much as fair. Not so. I probably didn't say that correctly. Grammar was never my 101 aspect in life. But anyways, it is starting to get to the point where I feel like it's on the edge of where you're gonna have to spend a decent amount of money to compete, unless you're like maybe the top 20. But it's still getting to the point where I think you're gonna like start to have to pay to play is gonna be a big aspect in Mutt. I mean, already people are having 87, 88s everywhere, and it's starting. That they paid to get that team, and it does cause a decent amount of difference when you play someone. Now, if you're much better, it doesn't matter, but if you're close, it does matter. My only thing with MCS, Trey, is that I wish it went longer. I know that they wrap it up by the football season being wrapped up, but I do think that they could keep people playing Madden in March and April tournaments because a lot of diehards are still doing it. I would still expand it to like through March, and then in April do the Madden Bowl to wrap it up, and then have May, June, July off, and then early August, bring the new Madden. Yeah, there was a little bit of controversy in the MCS. The leaderboards rolled out, people were playing, and a few pros complained about that their matchups were a little too hard, their elo was a little bit too hard, and they basically got the leaderboards reset, the leaderboards closed down, and people who were winning, people who I knew had won a couple games, one was myself included for one game. They reset it because some of the pros said it was too tough and it was going off of previous regs tournament. So they needed to reset it and they listened to the pros and they reset it. Some people were mad, some people were ecstatic, obviously. Also, another thing is the stem glitch is really, really popular right now, and they didn't ban it all tournament. There were some guys that knew how to do the double stem glitch where they could do two routes and then hike it, and they get a very fast speed burst, and you can really only guard one. And that's how they move their offense. And people were begging, even pros. A lot of pros were begging for the stem glitch to be banned, even though they were using it. But a few of them, a lot of their offense was around the stem glitch. And then get this. Right before the single limbs tomorrow, they banned stem glitch. So then people are like, well, are you going to ban mid blitz because it dumbs out the offensive line? And they're like, no. So it's all a mess on that aspect. But I do like it that they have tournaments early in the year. Like, and yes, it definitely helps people that can't spend money on their teams to have maybe a tournament or two to make a deep run, and then have hopefully they make enough money from a deep run where they streamed or they make a live event and then they have money for the rest of the tournament. So yes, I do think it gives you an avenue of having a chance to make a deep run because you don't need a huge money team to start the year. But other than that, I would definitely keep it longer. Like I said, I'm in favor of it keeping it till March and then April Madden Bowl. What about you, Trey?
Yeah, it's interesting because we had discussed this a little bit earlier on the podcast, and I had brought it up, and I was like, man, I don't understand why they're having these tournaments so early. And I think I asked you about it, and what you said, your whole theory on it makes sense. Is that football season is around the corner, and they're trying to encapsulate the excitement from football season. So they think that by doing that, it brings more interest generally towards the Madden side of things. But I mean, you think about it, it still does. I mean, it makes sense, but it still doesn't really make sense because I mean, what cards are they really going to promote at this point? I haven't really had a chance to get too deep into the whole mutt, but I don't even think there's even really. I mean, there's probably a few legends out and stuff like that, but I mean, we get into like October is the first major one really with the Halloween promo, and you get all that, and I just don't understand the logic. I think they would probably be more beneficial if they were to spread it out throughout the entire course of the season to get more promotion from the promos and etc. So with that being said, I've been playing a lot of college football lately, and that Milrow guy from Alabama is a problem. He is the second coming of Michael Vick in Madden 2004. I haven't really got a chance to get into mutt so much. So Shane, are there some overpowered cards out there that people need to watch out for, and what cards maybe are a little bit that are good, that are a little bit more on the budget side of things that people should check out. People.
So yeah, so I'm gonna just go to my lineup right now and just basically give a visual because, like I said, I haven't spent a ton of money on it. I just have not. I mean, I have a good team. Like I'm not gonna lie, I spent it somewhat already, but I mean, there's people out there that have spent a boatload. Trey. So I'm going to go to my team and my items, and I'm going to show you the main number one card that you must have on your team. I don't care if you're a runner or a passer, you need Chris Johnson, the running back, because you basically can spin people out and glitch people out with the double spin move. And it just dumbs you out. Like, I mean, there's tons of videos out there. You can go look at my shorts doing it. You definitely need Mean Joe Green, the defensive tackle. He gets double or nothing lit up to start, and especially with this whole pinch blitz, he will knock people backwards and usually squirt through the offense line, just like Myles Garrett. Some of the best cornerbacks out there are Rasul Douglas, Revis, and Sherman. Some good cards that you can get for free and build up are is Christian McCaffrey, their season one tickets. Hines Ward, you can build that up. So those are some really good cards. Like, and for me, like, I do like the Buda Baker. He's like a budget card. He's an 83 overall, and the Minka Fitzpatrick's really good. But other than that, like, Devin Hester, the 82 overall, is pretty good. But tomorrow, Trey is already gonna break the bank for 95% of Madden lovers out there. The legend tomorrow is Michael Vick. So you're already
You're
gonna see the
already
game
gonna see the
broken.
game broken. Alrighty, so we get Michael Vick coming out this week, and a lot of people, that might be, at this point when Michael Vick comes out, that's almost as much as anticipated as the actual game that is going to be released. So, shout out to Michael Vick. Obviously, he's been pretty much a staple from Madden, not only from like the newer side of things, but even going back to, the old school Maddens to '04. A lot of people think he is the most overpowered character in the game back in 2004, and he is still pretty dang good as well in these games at some point. So with all that being said, Shane, so when you're looking when you're looking to build the team, obviously we have the gauntlet, which we were taught tested today about it, and you seem to be pretty excited about the gauntlet. So explain to people, because even I know it's within MUT, but is Gauntlet essentially Weekend League, and what are some rewards that you could expect to get when doing the Gauntlet?
So here, this is basically there's champions. It's kind of like excuse me. Champions is what we've been playing for I think a couple years now. You can play it for 4 or 5 days. But yes, the Gauntlet tray is pretty darn big. Basically, if you want the sweatiest of sweaties and you want to play have a chance to play a Skimbo or a Henry, there's a very good chance that you will play these guys in the gauntlet. So the gauntlet, you have to win 10 games before you lose 2 games. So you have to go basically 10-1 or 10-0. And when you do that, you win, I believe, 300,000 coins, which is a lot for right now. And then top players, like you get the one. I believe it was one of the top players out there. One of our guys got it. I think he got an 87 free or something like that. So basically, yeah, it's a huge reward. If you can do 10-1 or 10-0 Trey, the gauntlet, you're playing the sweaty of the sweaty, you're playing the Joe Rices, the Henrys, the Skimbos, the Kivs, the Abrams, all those guys, and if you can go 10-0 or 10-1, you will get a great coin deal, and then you'll also get one of the best cards out there. I'm not entirely sure which card, but I know that it's an 86 plus.
Yeah, and that is dope that they actually did do that. Really, my only critique on that is that, and it was kind of funny. So I'm like, oh well, I don't. Shane probably doesn't have a good team, and he's pretty excited about this. So I thought for a split second that maybe this whole gauntlet thing was being held kind of in maybe even regular teams or something, but no, it's in MUT still. I wish because there's other games that do this, and Madden for whatever reason doesn't do this to where you can play offline and still earn coins towards Ultimate Team, and I just think that they should make it to where you're playing, and maybe you don't even play MUD, maybe you just play regular teams. You get the coins, and the coins just kind of sit up there forever. But maybe one day you're like, well, hell, I've been playing regs forever, and I've accumulated this many coins through playing it. Let me go into MUD and see what I can do, what's happening there. So hopefully they'll get this at one point. Me personally, I just wish that they would go back to traditional weekend league. But with this whole gauntlet, it seems like something that could be tangible. It's going to be better than Champions because I feel like that mode is pretty much in the dirt. I mean, people were saying we need to make weekend league all throughout Monday through Sunday, Sunday through Monday, yo. But it's just not. Yeah, yeah, you picked up what I
I
was
got
putting
it,
down
bro.
there. You got it. I'm not gonna finish. I'm not gonna finish that, but yeah. So, but you play weekendly throughout the whole week, and it just doesn't hit the same as when it was Thursday through Sunday. But also, Shane, what the hell is go? Okay, so I get on Madden, right? This is probably like 30 minutes before we start. Get on Madden. I'm looking through MUT. I don't see MUT Draft. MUT Draft is nowhere to be found. And the interesting thing, Shane, is that I actually looked on Google, and one of the videos that popped up was actually one of your videos from MUT Draft. So I mean, since you are the expert in this, I don't know if you have any insight on what is going on with MUT Draft. They said that they might do a tournament for it, but now we get into August 30th and it's not in the game at all right now. So what's going on with that?
Unfortunately, Trey, I don't have any insight on that. I did get insight about it either was going to be a regs tournament or a MUT draft, and obviously they decided regs, right? And there's no MUT draft. So I don't know if they're trying to have like, maybe they don't have MUT draft, but they're going to include it in like November, December for, like a cool giveaway, kind of like they did last year, I believe. Other than that, I don't know. I just think that, like I said before, broken record, top pros open their mouth, and it cost everyone, including the non competitive people that like certain things like MUT draft and salary cap. Once top pros were like, "Yo, I want unlimited MUT," EA said, "Say less." Right? They said, "Say less," and now everybody's got to break their wallet or play 24/7. And you know what? Honestly, Trey, I've been playing a lot. Like I'm on level 31. Like I've been putting in work. Like last year and this year is like the old me. Like where I was playing a lot. You know what I mean? And you still have to spend money. Like I know you could do head-to-head seasons and try to go undefeated and win Super Bowls. Great chance to do that, but again, that's the 1% of the 1% who can do it that way, right? But even those guys, like the Henrys, spent $1,000, bro, to start the year. So they have an OP team. Plus, he's one of the best players of all time. You know what I mean? What's good, Brittany? How you doing tonight? So it definitely you still have to spend money. So on the whole thing about MUT Draft is I think it's dead and gone unless they're holding a special for like November, December, January.
I just think it's interesting because you take away salary cap. I mean, that was probably the first mode that was to go. And really, the thing about salary cap being taken away is that no one really batted an eye when that was taken away. I feel like when salary cap was taken away, the general consensus on that was like good riddance at this point. But the thing about MUD Draft is that there's a lot of people saying that actually will play Madden specifically for MUD Draft, and now it is taken away. But when salary cap was taken away, I don't think really so many people cared about that. So I am hoping that it will return, and I mean, and then you got the house rules thing now. I know a lot of people like house rules. To me, it. I never really got into the whole house rules thing. I think that just kind of got dry after a certain amount of time. But I do like the fact that they are trending more in a direction to where you can actually accumulate coins and not have to spend money or just be top dog. To make coins last year, it was spend money or be top dog. Other than that, you're not really making it too far in the mud streets. But I think now with the gauntlet and all that, you have a chance. So moving on, Shane, I do want to get your opinions on the tournament that's going to be coming up pretty hot on Wednesday. We let me pull up who we got popping in this tournament. So we got John Beast, Abram, Kiv, David T, Clamp, JMH, D Croft, and Money Meat. So obviously I didn't even know this, but it seems like we actually have some new booties coming into this tournament. And I wanted to ask you, Shane, do you have any intel on David T. Clamp? I think I kind of know who JMH is, and also Money Meach. Do you have any intel on those guys at all?
So, going back really quick, I was thinking about Mud Draft while you're talking is maybe they're not doing Mud Draft because they don't want people to play with the cards that are out there that are they're hoping you buy bundles off, right? So maybe they're
So,
afraid of
so, in,
that.
sorry to cut you off, but in other words, they're greedy, is what you're
Yes,
saying.
no, yeah, just like that. That's what I kind of feel like. Trey is like I was thinking about when you're talking. I'm like, yeah, like if they put Butt Draft out there and they put Michael Vick, they put, Chris Johnson, they put all the top cards out there, there's going to be some people that don't want to spend any money and they're like, I'll just stay in Butt Draft and I get to use all the top cards anyways because I'm not good enough to do the MCS, right? And they don't care or they don't care. But if you don't have Mutt Draft, you'll never be able to have the top cards unless what you spend money or you grind 24/7 and you're one of the top players, which most people aren't. And no, so David T is my wolf cousin. It's a joke from like a few years ago when him. Oh man, I'm forgetting his name. I'm cool with him to this day. He's one of the top pros out there. Um, they were all like a wolf group when I created the UMC wolf thing, and so we joked with each other and called each other wolf cousins and all that. You know what? While I'm talking, let me look up the other guy's name. Uh, but no, David T's been in the like lurk, if that makes sense. Like he's been in the shadows. He's really good, bro. Like he's a really good player, and he is. I feel like he is gonna be somebody special in my opinion. I think he'll start making noises. He has won like some underground tournaments where like he's a really good player. The other guy, his name is Button Spammin. It's Spammin. That's his name. Spammin is the guy that he was part of the whole David T thing, and me and him and all of them were cool and all that. So other than that, yeah, Clamp. I've heard he's. I don't know much about him. Money Meach was a pro who not really a pro. He was just a money guy, I guess. He did it on Facebook, and that's where he came from. I think that's a guy who would roll out. He does the rollout glitch. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. I just heard about him from in passing where he would do the rollout glitch. I'm pretty sure it's him. So yeah, he did make a name for himself this year. We will see, in the future with that patch. We'll talk about later on, but those are just the guys that I know. Trey, like David T, he's really really good. So look out for him.
All right, so Shane says be on the lookout for Money Meach. And actually, they already posted. I didn't even see this at first in the picture, but they already posted the matchup. So I figured since we're here, we might as well just get Shane and Mike's prediction on these matches that they have posted. So here are the matches that they got posted. We got John Beast versus Abram, Young Kiv versus, well, it's not Young Kiv anymore. It's just Kiv versus David T, Clamp versus JMH, and D Croft versus Money Meach. So Shane, give me your predictions on all those matchups if you could. If...
Yeah, man, you're testing my memory already, bro. Um, help me, help me out again. What was the first game again? I heard you, and now I forgot.
No, we're all good. We'll just go to it first. So John Beast versus Abram, Young Kiv versus David T.
I got Abram and David T, bro. I think, well, damn, it is an offensive game. David T's really good. Yeah, I'm gonna go Abram and I'm gonna go David T.
All right, so Shane doesn't. That's pretty. Feel like that would be two upsets. I actually think that John Beast and Kiv would be the favorites going in, but Shane going a little bit against the grain on that one. All right, and then for the final two matchups, Clamp versus JMH, D Croft versus Money Meach.
JMH, I know who that is, bro. Got a story. I can't say it on here. JMH, I think will win over Clamp, and then I got damn, that dude. This last game, like I'm being honest, is I'm gonna go with D Croft, even though I'm not gonna be surprised if Money Meach pulls the upset because they will be on this patch right now. They will not be on a new patch, even if a new patch comes out. So I am gonna lean towards D Croft, and then I'm gonna pick JMH.
All right, so moving on to the next round, we have you picked Abram over John Beast. You picked David T over Young Kiv. So who do you have? Who do you have? Abram versus David T.
I'm going David T. I'm gonna go with David T. I think he's gonna beat him. I think he's gonna be in the championship.
All right, and then you have JMH versus D Croft.
I'm gonna go experience here. Bright lights don't go night night. So I'm going D Croft.
All right, and then your finale is gonna be David T versus D Croft. And then who do you got winning that one?
I got David T. I got David T bringing home a chip for the first time.
Alrighty, so you heard it here first. The Madden 2025 Kickoff Classic winner will be David T taking over D Croft. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna say they rig it up, and I think it's going to be Young Kiv versus D Croft Part 5 in the finale.
Ooh.
And Young Kiv is going to take it home finally.
I like that.
His first championship since Madden 18. All right, so
that's wild, Trav. But sorry to interrupt, but you said Madden 18, bro.
Yeah, bro. Madden 18 when they had that ridiculous. It was like the whole Ultimate League thing, where it was just like games back to back, and it was just set up. It was a grind for sure, but Young Kiv, he took that belt home, and I'm pretty sure that's his only belt that he's got in the MCS era so far.
Do you remember when they were like, he's gonna win 3, 4, 5 championships?
Yeah, it seemed like he was on the cusp of it, but
I do have some insight though. Should I leak it on air, or should I keep it on the DL so like no issues happen?
Nah, bro. I mean, this is you're on the West Coast Podcast. I say let it fly. I mean, I guess if you wanted to, you could just say allegedly that this is what I heard, so that way it can't really get back to you,
Okay, so allegedly. allegedly, I was told and I was witness to multiple people saying basically Kiv could have been one of the best players, even as good as he was. So they all said this. He's very good. He's very elite, right? So let's just not be like acting like he's bad. Nobody said that, but allegedly from the sources I was told from and stuff that I witnessed, and I'm sure you can even find it online because it was brought even on Twitter at the time after I found out originally about it. It was on there. So basically, he kind of stopped playing really. So he won the championship, right? And he was really good. People were talking about how great he was. Well, then he got a girlfriend. And from allegedly what I was told and saw and heard is he was in a crew and he was not putting in the time. He'd have other people put in all the time and then he'd ask them for help and be like, "Yo, tell me this play and this glitch and this." And he wasn't putting in work, so it was causing conflict. So the little birdie basically say that he had no drive. Now, did it come back this year? Did it come back last year and it was too late? And this year, maybe he gets back over the hump? But that is what the little birdies were saying, that he had no drive and he was relying on other people once he became big time to do all the work because he didn't want to put in the work anymore. That is allegedly.
Yeah, keep in mind this whole thing is allegedly. And I don't even think it's really necessarily, I mean, hearing you say that, I don't even really think it's necessarily a knock on Kiv per se. You look at Skimbo, for example, I think Skimbo kind of had, that killer instinct in him to where once he tasted the success, I feel like he didn't really get complacent. He kind of just kept pursuing, kept doing his thing. And I really think Henry is kind of the same way. I mean, I did see on X that he did kind of splurge a little bit on like a car or something, but I kind of get the vibe from him that he also kind of has that killer instinct. I mean, me personally, if I was, and me and Kiv are like the same age, I think, and I mean, hell, if I was his age when getting six figures from Madden, I'd probably be a lot like him. I'd just be chilling, like you literally couldn't tell me nothing if I was, that young making that kind of money. So with that, Shane, like, how do you think you would be if you were kind of around the same age as him and you were making kind of all that money? Do you think that would that would drive you more? Or do you think you'd be a little bit more laid back in a way? Do you?
So here, and I'm gonna be brutally honest. Like, I mean, people that know me personally can vouch on this. If you go to the casino with me, and you're like, what the hell, the casino? That's nothing to do with Madden and the belt. It does where I'm gonna circle back around, and I win big money. My friends that are with me or my family that's with me, guess what? They get some cash, and if like you let's just say Trey, you and I go to the casino together, right? And we're like, "Okay, we make a deal that if you win, you give me 33%, and if I win, I give you 33%, but you can completely trust me because that's what I do with my one buddy." And we always did it that way. Well, there'll be times even like let's say I go to the casino and I win $1,000, right? And I give $100 to my friend and $100 to my other friend, and I keep like 800. But I gave you $100 just to chill and hang out with me. I'm very nice at sharing my money, and especially even now, like if I went and won the Madden belt and won 100K, I would be like. I would pay off all my bills first, but then I would give money to. I'd send you some money. I'd send some money to my other friends that need it. You know what I mean? So I understand because definitely like when I was 21, 22, hell yeah, I'd be like, look at me. You know who I am? So I understand that part. The main difference for me is I hate losing. I hate losing more than winning. Like especially when I was like 16 to 30, I had that like I hated losing so bad compared to winning, and I would rather I would rather win than like lose. Obviously, like a lot of people said, but like, and they say, but like, I'm gonna give you a backstory, Trey, and it's gonna all circle around to like, oh well, if you won, would you be like Kiv and chill? Okay, so we used to have basketball tournaments at at my high school at lunch. We'd play some of the varsity players. We'd play some of people that just street balled and all that. Well, I was about 15 years old. I was a sophomore, and we had a chance to beat the varsity, and I was killing them from three. Like I was a 3 point sniper, Trey, and I got fouled and went to the line for the win. I didn't really practice free throws at the time, and I missed. We lost. Everybody was over it by the time the game ended. It was just in school basketball tournaments, and it ate at me. It ate at me so bad that guess what I did? I went outside to my basketball hoop and I shot hundreds of free throws every day. And then what happened was in tournaments, I would make them at the end of the game and end the game that way. And that's just the point of the drive. So like maybe I might be really like to circle back to Madden. My whole point is like, yeah, okay, so I win the belt, right? And I'm balling. I'm 21 years old. Like Trey, you and I meet up. We go to the casino. I give you money to play with. I pay out some bills. I buy a car. I give some money to other people. I go with my wife. Whoop de whoop, right? That first tournament, I get my ass kicked again because I took it too lightly. Nah, I'm back in the lab, Trey. I'm trying to figure it all out. Plus, I would have started streaming and doing all that stuff and putting out videos because I would have thought of it as a business venture, right? And that's what dang, I'm struggling what the guy's name is. One great user. He said that's the same thing. He basically said a few of them have their heads on right where they're making it like a business, right? So it's just not a tournament and they think that they're going to win forever. They create a business venture like W. Like he said W was super smart on what he did. Skimbo even kind of does it to a lesser degree, but he's so good and popular that people flock to him, right? So they did it smart, like a business venture. I think he brought up Henry, but then he said he kind of like said a couple past belt winners didn't take it seriously like a business